Hey everybody, I'm Hamza Krumza, and today we'll be checking out a ridiculously quick 16 pop scout rush build using the Khmer. The Khmer have a few crafty civ bonuses that enable us to get those scouts out ASAP with a pretty lean economy, and with the DE Arabia meta shifting towards walling earlier, it's good to know a few quick builds that can stop the game from becoming Palisade Arena. All I have to do is show you how. Hope you enjoy. In the spirit of getting out scouts quickly to defeat early wallers on the DE ranked ladder, I was looking for civs that could complete fast scout rush builds, and the Khmer came to mind with their cheeky bonus of not needing any buildings to advance to the next stage. Now, this means you can delay building structures until after you click up to the next stage, and we'll be using this bonus in a Dark Age to its fullest. To give credit where it's due, this build came about from a discussion I had with user CactusSteak2171 in the forums on the official AoE site when discussing what civs can do fast scout rushes. I was also able to find another video doing this build and another thread on AoE Zone discussing the possibility, so I don't want to take full credit for this one at all. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, and let's get started. So we're going to start out standard, build our two houses, and send our sheep underneath the town center. And we're going to send our first 2 through 7 population onto our sheep. Now, the interesting part about this build, and I'm going to kind of spoil it before we actually get into it, is we're going to be sending every single villager that we produce onto a food source. So we're scouting around right now, and it's extremely important that we actually go and find all 8 of our sheep, or however many cows you spawn with, and also both of our boars very early on. So it looks like we're able to find at least one of the boars in the southeast corner on the map there, as we can see. Found 2 of our sheep, and now we're just trying to keep up that villager production. So it's also pretty important that you're using sheep scouting here to actually go and get the outskirts of the map there, because you're going to be consuming boar early and not really using those sheep for consumption too early on. But there we go, perfect. Now we have all 8 sheep. Gonna send that villager to go lure the boar, and the next 3 villagers are going to go onto sheep there. So let's lure the boar with 1 shot. There we are. And here we go. So 9th population goes onto the sheep. And we're actually going to start shooting the boar. And now we should have all 8 of the villagers produced so far onto that boar that we just lured. So from here on out, all the villagers are going to go onto sheep. So that's going to be all the way up to 16 population, and we should be good there. What we also need to find here is we need to go and find where our deer are on the map, because I think that this build kind of needs your deer, right? Like, you can do this build without your deer, and it can be possible, but in terms of what I think is a good build order is something that you can constantly produce villagers. You can constantly keep production up of whatever unit you're trying to produce, and you don't fall behind in super far in economy. So we're going to try and adhere to those principles, and we're going to send our 13th villager to go build a house, and we're going to shoot the boar there. And we lured that boar using one of the villagers that was originally on boar. And we just want 8 hunters continuously, so we're just going to take 2 of those villagers off of board to actually shoot that deer like we just did. And all the new villagers are still going onto our sheep there. So we're going to lure over 2 deer. Now you can lure over 3 deer, and honestly I would recommend it, especially if you have the time. But just for the sake of the build order itself, I just wanted to lure 2 deer, as I think that's possible for most people, and most individuals who are going to end up following this build order in general. So after we reach 16 population, we're going to research Loom. And just to talk on that real quick, we can research Loom, or we can go 17 population, or we can go even 18 population, but the build would remain the same from there. But here we're going to research Loom and just go up. So once we research Loom, we're going to click up to the next age, and we're immediately going to send 8 of our villagers over to wood. So we got all of our full HP villagers, and it is extremely important that we start scouting to find where our enemy is, because we need to do critical damage with these scouts to justify going up this early in the game. So looks like we're doing a good job there. And okay, we're just balancing out economy underneath the town center there. Okay, perfect. So kind of speaking to the earliness of this build, it's technically always possible to go up earlier with, different civs. Like, I believe there's a video out there of, the Viper doing a 12 population uptime with the Mongols. But the biggest thing that you need to worry about when you go up this early is, can you do enough damage for it to be worth, do enough damage to your opponent for it to be worth it for you going up this early, right? Because they're going to have a lot more villagers working and fueling their economy than you are, and if that's the case, you're just going to fall behind and it's not going to be okay. So once we go up here, we're going to research double bit axe, send 2 more villagers over to wood so that we have 10 on wood, and we're going to build our stable immediately. So as you can see, we have no dead time on our villagers right now. Everything is looking pretty solid. If we had another deer lord here, this would be perfect, and we'll kind of show you why in just a second. But okay, now we're going to have 10 people on wood there very soon. I'm just going to let the scout pass since this is, just the AI. We don't really care. But after we have 10 villagers on wood, we're going to send every new villager we produce onto a food source. So whether that's building a farm or whether that's going to berries. And I produced a scout there just a little bit late because my hotkeys are new right now and I am a scrub. So right when you build that stable, you want to produce 2 of your scouts ASAP. And we're going to task over all the sheep villagers onto the berries. Okay, so now here in this build, I actually do get a little bit greedy. I wanted to get horse collar before I actually started building farms, but I just started floating so much wood that it didn't make sense to actually go and wait for that 75 food, and I'm going to start producing farms a little bit early here in a second. So also, if we had another deer here, we could probably produce a 4th scout. So if you push your 3rd deer in, you can produce a 4th scout. If you push your 4th deer in, if you have a 4th deer, then you can produce, maybe even 5 scouts. But we're doing a good job here, and we're building our farms. I know that was a pretty crappy farm and away from the town center, but, we're Khmer, and we gather our farms from wherever we want. And at this point, if you're pretty experienced, you can kind of tune out because it's going to be a pretty standard build, going from scouts into knights. One comment I do want to make, though, is in this build, you don't have a barracks, right? So say your opponent goes into, their scouts of their own. You're going to want to immediately build a barracks so that you can produce some of your spearmen. If they go into archers, then the next building you're going to want to produce is an archery range to actually go and build counter units to, their archer push that they're going to be making. But the biggest thing is just that, you're keeping your villager production up and you're playing it very smart with your scouting information as to what the next production building is going to be. So we're going to put around, keep our 10 on wood, and we're going to put around 18 on food. And once we have 18 on food, we're going to send 4 or 5 over to gold, research wheelbarrow, and then click up. So should be a pretty, like I said, it's a pretty standard build from this point on, and it's just a matter of, following it through. So one of the things you're going to want to be aware of when playing as the Khmer in general, and this is more of just like a civ tip than anything else, is you're going to want to make sure that you're actually building the necessary structures, right? So for example, if you are going to go into skirmishers to respond to an enemy rush, or if you are going to go into the next age, it's really easy as Khmer to forget, building a blacksmith, for example, or even, forgetting to build like your palisade walls or something to that effect, right? And I feel as though if you aren't used to that as it is, then it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve to play this civ, but it's something that you'll definitely learn and adapt to. So as you can see there, we actually just sent over one of our villagers to build the mining camp, and we're gonna send about 5 to actually, mine the gold there, and then we're gonna research a wheelbarrow like we were saying. But yeah, just to get back on the point of getting your structures, you can see here that I'm building a blacksmith. I actually just lost a game recently where I tried this build, and as I went to the next stage, I built 3 stables and forgot blacksmith, so wasn't able to get my skill binding armor, and the all-in kind of fell apart a little bit from there. But yep, and at this point you can do a few things, right? You can save that wood, you can save that wood for a new town center, you can build more stables like I'm doing here, you can go into more skirmishers and use that wood there. If you were going to go into archers, you may have wanted to have sent a few more villagers over to gold rather than food beforehand. This build at this point, like all Scout Rush builds, is very flexible, and more importantly, you can play the build to the situation that's actually occurring. One of the other things as well is a nice little civ bonus with the Khmer is you can actually garrison inside of your houses. So you see that I'm not actually too worried about having my villagers walled in or anything like that, and that's generally because I have houses built next to the places where they're gathering resources. I could definitely add one on the gold there, and that'd be better, but it would be good. So we're going to go and collect the gold, deposit it, and we are now officially on up to the next age. So with all these Scout Rush builds, that's where I'm actually going to end it. And that's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed the build. I'm always trying to improve these videos, so let me know if you have any suggestions or improvements on how to make these better, and I'll see what I can do. Check out the Discord in the description, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.